All right, what's up, everyone? Coach Braden here with Look Like You Lift, and welcome to Look Like You Lift 15, where we're going to teach you how to look like you lift in 15 minutes. This is episode number 1, and in this episode, I hope to introduce who I am, what I do, and kind of go through my journey and how I basically created Look Like You Lift. So yeah, basically my story started back when I just got out of high school. I was a skinny, scrawny little kid. I was very, very weak. I didn't play any sports. I like to joke around that I was handed a I was handed a bad hand of cards when it came to genetics. I was small, I was weak. And when you're small and weak, naturally the next thing that you want is to become big and strong and powerful. And so I started to get into how can I basically look more intimidating? How can I get bigger? And it went from me studying everything on like bodybuilding.com and these magazines, which virtually did nothing for me, to spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on supplements that promised the world. That didn't do anything for me. And I really didn't actually start making any kind of traction until I got into college. So when I was in college, I really wanted to learn more about the human body. I was always fascinated with anatomy, with biochemistry, with how the body worked. And so naturally, I was in school for that. I was in school for biology. And so in my time in learning more about biology, both through high school and then through college, and even my own personal studies of learning about biology, I discovered that a lot of the information that is online on the websites and the magazines is not true. And it's not backed by science. And so what I actually started doing is taking the principles that I learned in biology and applied them into my training regimen. So for example, we'll talk about this in other episodes, but one of my big problems that I was doing was I was training 6 or 7 days a week, because I thought that was when that's when you were building muscle, was when you were in the gym. Coming to realize that muscle growth doesn't happen inside the gym. Fat loss doesn't happen inside the gym either. It happens when you recover and adapt to what you've done inside the gym. And so what I did is I actually cut my training sessions down to only 3 training sessions a week. And I actually started growing. I actually started getting bigger, and I actually started getting stronger. My training sessions themselves still were not the most efficient, but the fact that I took away a lot of training sessions and applied what I learned from biology really sparked something inside me. And so what I wanted to do is take what I learned and actually fast track it. So what I did is I bought a lot of textbooks, and I read up one of the most important textbooks that was very pivotal in my education was Starting Strength. So I started with that, and then I interned underneath some of the top strength coaches in my county. And so really fast tracked my knowledge. And as I learned more, I got stronger and I got bigger. And then just fast forward a few years later, I had the opportunity to train with some strongmen. So at the time, I was kind of into powerlifting, basically just trying to get as strong as I possibly could with the barbell. And then strongmen is essentially a bunch of big guys, and the competition is who can lift the most amount of weight on the most untraditional piece of equipment: locks, rogs, Did I say locks and rogs? Rocks, logs, cars, just random pieces of essentially junk. Who can lift the most weight in the fastest amount of time? And it was really intriguing to me. And I had a great opportunity to start training with these strongmen. And I absorbed everything that I possibly could from them. And I learned a lot. I basically ate, lived, and breathed strongmen. And I followed everything that I could. I got to train with some of the world's strongest men, the nation's strongest men, all in one spot. And I was very, very honored to have that kind of opportunity. So as I continued to learn about powerlifting and strength training and how to get other people strong, I was also at the same time learning about strongmen. So I got competitive with it. I started competing in state competitions. I got to compete in Arizona. So that was a lot of fun. So fast forward another 1 or 2 years, and when you live, eat, and breathe like a strong man, what you'll realize is if they have a philosophy of you got to eat big to get big. And so I ate a lot of food. I stuffed my face every single day, and sure enough, I gained a lot of weight really, really quick. The problem was, as I was getting bigger and as I was getting heavier, I was no longer getting stronger. And in fact, I was losing a lot of energy at the same time. So now I'm running into this dilemma where I'm losing strength, I'm losing performance. I keep getting bigger, but I'm not getting stronger. So now instead of looking and performing like a strong man, I'm now just looking like a fat guy. So something needed to change. I really wanted to hold on to as much muscle as I could, and I wanted to hold on to as much strength as I possibly could. But every time that I tried to lose weight, I lost a bunch of muscle and I lost a bunch of strength. And this was frustrating for me. And I went through this vicious cycle of lose a bunch of weight, lose a bunch of strength, try to eat to get my strength and muscle back, and I just gained weight back again. And so I'm through this vicious cycle of dieting and getting fat, and this cycle lasted for about 1.5 years with nothing to show for it. And in fact, at this point, I'm now even weaker than when I even started my weight loss journey. So you can imagine my frustration at this point, where I'm getting these pre-diabetic symptoms and I'm having this binge eating disorder from having to stuff my face. I'm unhealthy, I look terrible, I've got high blood pressure, and nothing seems to work. And I'm losing my strength every time I try to lose my fat, which was important for me. What's going on? So that's when I decided to turn to the bodybuilders, and I tried to learn, because who better understands how to burn fat and maintain and build muscle at the same time than a bodybuilder? So I turned to them. I studied from a couple bodybuilders, and I came down to the realization that my process with which I was using to lose weight was very ineffective. I was using cardio, I was using running, I was using ineffective dieting methods, and that's why I was losing a bunch of strength and performance and looking worse. So we took a step back, and I decided to do things a little bit smarter. We paid closer attention to hormones. We decided to do things slower. And what ended up happening is I lost about 60 pounds of fat in 6 months. The best part is I didn't lose any strength and I didn't lose any muscle in that process. Yeah, maybe I lost a little bit. But to get the 60 pounds of fat off and to get healthier and to take care of my heart and to get rid of my diabetic symptoms, it was worth it, right? So that happened, and that's essentially how Look Like You Lift was born. Because I realized that you can have both. You can look really, really good, and you can be really strong. You don't have to have one or the other, because I feel like right now in our society, it's kind of polarizing. We have the powerlifters and strongmen on one side, and we have the aesthetic bros on the other side, right? So the powerlifters and strongmen, they're fat. Like if you just saw them on the street, you would just say that's a big fat guy. Whereas we have these aesthetic bros over here who look really good, who have a six pack, who look good with their shirts off, but they're weak. They're not very strong. Well, we can have both. We can marry the two together. In fact, with the strength training and with the dieting, they can help one another. We have the guys over here who are really, really lean, who pay attention to nutrition and taking care of their health. That will help with powerlifting and strongman. And we have the effective programming from training with a heavy barbell on a regular basis. That will help with the aesthetics. So that's essentially how Look Like You Lift was born. It's a combination of both looking really good and getting strong at the exact same time. And we'll talk more about why strength training is so crucial when it comes to fat loss, and why I believe that strength training is the main reason why people can't seem to not only lose the weight, but keep the weight off for a long period of time, because you're just not strong enough. So we'll talk more about that in this podcast. But I believe that my time is up. This is a new podcast. This is a new style of videos that I'm going to be doing, and I really should start having a timer. That's probably a good idea. Good thinking on my part. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Really excited about this new podcast. I think I said in my last video how the goal with this is to give you steps of implementation in 15 minutes of what you can do to look better, burn more fat, build more muscle, and look like you lift in 15 minutes or less. And so we're gonna have a lot of really cool guest speakers on here that are gonna help us out from all walks of life. So really excited about this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Also follow me over on Instagram at LookLikeYouLift, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk soon.